Hey, good evening. Good evening. How's everyone doing? Just lost my screen there. There we go. Hello, David. Dana, how are you? Hope everyone's doing well. Wednesday. What an interesting day, indeed. I'm being distracted, as I always am.
Well, why?
I don't know why. I often wonder
I don't know why either.
but I can never figure that out. Hello, Anna. How are you? Heather. Hey, hey, hey. Cheryl, how are you doing? Interesting day. Boy, I got to tell you, today was definitely a weird, interesting day for sure in a lot of ways. Well, you saw those 10 lives that we did on the way to where we were going in South Jersey there. And hey, Kevin, how are you? And again, I'm hearing different stories about how much of that fire they have under control. I read somebody posted 40%. I hope it's way more than that. I really do hope it's getting better, because just from what we saw alone was just like, Jesus, you know. So praying that is out soon, and that nobody here is affected, and that, you know, that's under control. But yeah, it was surprising. Yeah,
hey,
driving up that way, we were rerouted a lot of times, and we were the clouds were always in front of us or right there on the side of us, and you could tell.
We did like almost like a circle around it.
I mean, if you had to guess how many miles away from the fire we were, I mean, we saw smoldering in flames.
Oh, we were in 5-10 miles distance of it easy.
Yeah, we were driving home. We had driven past this patch of just bare trees, charred, and there was still smoke coming from the ground, so you could tell it was.
Yeah.
And then there were firemen still around, kind of poking at it. So, but that meeting was scheduled 2-3 weeks ago. Of course, we had no idea that was going to be going on, and you know, the whole drive there, we were wondering, are we going to be able to even make it there? Just because of what I read the night before, and I watched all the Instagram clips and all that. But we did go there, and we talked a little about it before. Well worth the trip. Nice people, good people.
We met some amazing new people.
I mean, these are people, again, we like as part of, again, that buzzword community, the New Jersey Paranormal community, which is you guys and the places that we work with and that we do events at. We like the relationship all the way around with that we have with the people that follow us and that we have with the sites that we support. And you could tell kind of right away, at least we've been doing this long enough to where we could kind of see, what the interest is, what kind of people they are, kind of, sort of. And these were just good people. I mean, the owner of the hotel, phenomenal woman. I mean, I was so impressed by her and her
She's
mom.
and she's connected to this place with all her heart.
It is like not The Shining and that weird like bartender, but she has a really interesting movie like story with the way she came to own this hotel that we'll be able to share at some point. We can't share it now, but
Hey,
you
ladies.
guys are going to be like, whoa, that's kind of, it was, again, it was just, it was, if as if it was predetermined that events would play out in such a way with the history of
Yeah.
that hotel to where it wound up in this woman's hands now, which in
Like, it was
turn
like
could
it
be
was
in her
fated. Yeah,
daughter's
like it was
hands for
fated.
years, you know?
It was bigger than that. When you sit down and you're talking with people and
Okay.
it's
Kathy.
business,
Laura.
whatever, and there's just a conversation, not a connection, not a clicking of person. It's somebody presenting something or presenting that persona of what they want to the public. The people that we sat down with, and this woman that owns this hotel, she leads with her heart. Her heart is on her sleeve. You're sitting down and you're talking to. She has no filters. She is what she appears to be: open, kind-hearted, and
Like me.
just like you. And she just,
Well, you said that in a real.
did I? I didn't mean to.
Boy,
I'm sorry.
I was being truthful.
But there was such a vulnerability and how much she opened herself up to us and shared what she shared that completely blew me away.
Yeah, it's hard to tell the story without telling the story. That's
It is hard, and we can't tell the story right now.
But the building has been around since the late 1800s, and each owner seems to have passed it to a person who was meant to have it. I know this sounds totally bizarre, and now it wound up in the hands of this woman who literally, if she can keep it and maintain it, she's going to own it for her. And her mom's helping her redo the whole thing. I mean, they've done an amazing job, and her mom's 70 years old, and the place is then going to be passed on to her daughter.
So their heart and soul, blood and sweat.
Yeah, in theory, this family could own that house for another 40 years, 50 years.
Oh, longer.
Right? I mean,
longer.
So really, really cool story. And again, one of potentially 2 or 3 buildings that we could be working with come the fall, which this is why we do it. And again, it was so good to sit down and talk to these people because
they got it. Right?
She got it 100%.
Oh, she did.
And she's the owner of this huge, beautiful hotel that she made beautiful. And she just kept repeating, I'm doing this I love doing this. I need to make enough to pay whatever, but it's not about the money. It shouldn't be about the money always. And we were just like, wow, talk about kindred spirit. I mean, it was
it was definitely a unique experience, and the conversations that we had, then all of a sudden it was like, oh, and we know this one that has this, and we know this one that has that, and it was just like, we want to build this, we want this to continue to be something.
And it's not going to be one of those places that's over the top with the guy who murdered his family and someone conjured a demon with a ritual. No, this isn't that place. This is a place that has had several owners who have really cared about this property and taking care of it. And if anybody is there that's who's there. One owner or another owner.
And you know what was unique?
And again, not malicious, not
No.
negative, just people who were there.
And this will all come together when we get the green light to talk and like really put it out there. And so that's why it's tongue in cheek, unfortunately, because I would love, John knows I would love to be able to spill all of it. But she's dealt with a lot of challenges that came along with this and unexpected personally with the business, with the house, everything. And she flat out said that everything that was thrown at her, it's almost like divine intervention came in and took care of that problem.
Yeah, if something were needed for the hotel,
It miraculously
it just worked out.
And not in a way that you would expect.
This is what I'm talking Shining-esque.
Yes.
Not meaning, the horror, blah, blah, blah. I mean, as far as for some reason with this particular building, it was meant to go from where
it goes
to where
in
it
unusual
is,
ways
really
too. Very unusual stories of how it came into the hands of each individual is very unique in itself. And I think the other thing that she expressed to us is that she has a home that they live in elsewhere, but when she walks into that house, that hotel, where they have a private suite right now, there's such a peace that comes to her that she feels nowhere else, even in her own
Yeah, she said
home.
she can't sleep through the night in her own home, yet she goes there and she sleeps with no problem. I think there's
something more.
Definitely, and that's what I'm talking about as far as, like, this isn't a place you're going to go to expecting the horror stories and the thing or the whatever, the shadow. This isn't that place. This is really,
this is going to be tangible, touching
weird,
into
story of owner
the
after
spirits
owner
of
and
whoever owned it and why.
tie-in.
And it starts earlier when this place was built and the history. And again, I wish we could just blah, 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 so you guys could get this.
Well, she wants to, trust me.
I do, because it is such an amazing progression of what has happened through time with this place.
There might be a theater involved. There might be a restaurant involved. There might be
other places.
There might be lots of other places involved. But that was really, really, really cool. And with the exception, of course, of the fire, it was a really interesting trip and well worth it. Even if, again, because we said to them, and I'm honest. When I've sat down with so many people about doing the things that we do, and I explained everything to them, and it just such an easy, natural, good meeting to where even if nothing came of it, we met some really good people.
Oh, and I think we made a friend.
I'd go down there again and just hang out with them.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was the one thing that we're doing today, and we didn't get back here till 5:30 or whatever time it was. Two other things, kind of talk about working out. I mean, it was a day for at least things working out a little better. The issues with my back seem to have let up, at least knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood.
I'm not in constant pain. I'm still in pain, but not that throbbing. I'm in so much pain. I need to take medicine and sleep all day pain, which I was the last 3 days. So my back is feeling better, which means, again, I'm okay for Saturday's event, which I was hoping I would be. But yeah, no creeper gallery because I don't want to hurt my back again. But so that was one thing. And then we are waiting on payment for the last tickets for the May 3rd event with John Zappis, Cody Satori. That event is that close to being sold out. That happened when we were there. Somebody requested the last tickets for that. So I'm waiting on payment. If that happens, that event finally sold out, which is awesome. Can't wait for that one. So again, these were things that were kind of going on when we were there. And another thing that was going on when we were there. This is sort of behind the scenes expo stuff. I've been working for at least a week, maybe or more, on this one person who I mentioned I reached out to 2 years ago and I never heard back from. And that person got back to me, and we've been going back and forth, back and forth. And there's been little hiccups along the way, just in, you know, details of contracts and stuff like that. And finally, literally half hour ago, signed the contract. Now we have to wait for a few things to happen with the township, and then we make the announcement later on. But very, very happy about this signing for the expo. No one, this person's never been there before with us at this expo. I'm going to be thrilled to,
If he could do a backflip, he would.
to hang out with this person for sure and meet them and you know, and be around them for, you know, the Friday night, Saturday night, you know, the whole thing, the convention. And I can't wait to make the announcement because, again, it's someone who, you know, hasn't been anywhere in a while and said pretty good. I'd love to announce it now, but I can't do that. We need to wait. There's a lot of things with the township that needs to happen before we make an announcement. So the contracts are signed. It is official with us, but there's red tape and procedures with the township that needs to be handled. But it's a done deal as far as
it's going to happen.
The contract is signed. This person's coming.
It probably won't be completed for another 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
But
something like that.
Man, oh man, she'll tell you. I'm in the car, and there was an issue with the contract, just verbiage, and I can do the contract from my laptop real easy. The program I use is more designed towards that. If you've ever used DocuSign before, you know what I'm talking about. DocuSign, you could sign on your phone. You just can't create a contract on your phone. So if there's any changes that need to be made, you need a laptop. So there were just little changes that needed to be made that pissed me off to no end. Because again, you go back and forth with some people. When you have them, you have them. When you're communicating with them, and then some people you won't be able to hear from them for a few days or a week because they're so busy. So I had this person, and I'm going back and forth, and then it happened. I'm in the car with her, and I'm like, "Damn it! There's a problem with the verbiage on the contract.
Still an hour away from home.
I need to get home. I'm an hour away, and he's responding now, and you know he wants to sign the contract." And I waited till I got home, fixed it, sent it, waited. I waited. I was literally in the bathroom. And I'm listening to something on YouTube and bloop, popped up DocuSign, signed. I was like, hallelujah in the bathroom. Hallelujah. And I was really, really happy about that. I mean, this expo, when you see the final lineup, which it will be after we announce this person, is going to be really impressive as far as what
Patricia, dragons, unicorns, leprechauns, you name it.
What is that?
So what did you bring in dragons that you got to get all the approvals and being that we need all the approvals? Yep.
Oh, you laugh at Patricia jokes. You and her.
That's right.
That's a Patricia joke for sure.
So
I'm just saying.
Not everybody has John Ruggiero's humor.
No, they don't. As you can see. Maybe I should make more dragon jokes. You're right. Patricia, maybe you could feed me some lines on
unicorns,
on Messenger.
Fairies.
Well, listen to this. Patricia, got any more dragon jokes that you want to try out? But anyway, this one, I was really, again, when I just spent this whole time creating the new poster, adding this person to it, and I like the way that lineup looks a lot now. I mean, you go between what we have now with Ghost Brothers, Ghost Hunters, Adam and Amy, Chip, Tom from Skinwalker Ranch, Russell and Maria. I hope I'm saying her name right, from Exhibition Bigfoot. Um, Katrina coming back.
I think you did an amazing
It's
job.
really a John
Amazing.
Zappis, Ryan Candle from One Collector, and now this person. It's going to be.
I think you did an
really,
amazing
really
job
cool.
putting the lineup together.
And another thing that was really cool as far as people that didn't come, Project Fear. Literally, I don't go and we'll just a little bit about the expo, and then we'll get into other stuff. But Project Fear was going to come, but Chelsea is pregnant, and they're filming things scheduled. Because of that, they couldn't come this year, but they wanted to come. It just couldn't happen.
Yeah.
And they're a big draw, and they're good people. And I heard from Dakota about. I wish them a happy Easter. Wish me a happy Easter back. We went back and forth a little. If we do the expo next year, which again, it's always an if, he said they're definitely coming back.
Yep.
And he said that he would do our live stream. So we're working on a date and time for Dakota to be here with us doing an interview and a discussion, which should be really
interesting.
Because I like Dakota. I won't get into any of the Discovery Channel, all that stuff. I don't really want to get into all that. But there's a lot to talk to him about. I mean, they've been a lot of places, done a lot of things, and, all the old questions. How'd you get started? I think they lived in a haunted house, him and his sister.
I have no clue.
I think they did. But again, it's a matter of working out the when and the time because they're on the West Coast. So, but Dakota did agree to come on. So we're going to work that out too. So you ask for it, Johnny delivers. That's what I do. That's what I do. I don't have time for dragging jokes. I'm a doer. I got to work. I got to get stuff done. That's why this woman we met with was such an inspiration because her and I are so much alike as far as commitment and effort.
Mama says stay quiet when you got nothing nice to say.
Paranormal Savior, thank you.
That's right, Veronica.
It's a hard thing to live up to, but I strive to keep I earned the shirt and the hat and the mug for a reason.
He earns it.
Yeah, it's true. But again, I believe me, I was itching today to get my fix and go investigate something somewhere. Again, my back wouldn't let me do that, and that kind of aggravates me. But after, she'll tell you, I'm really superstitious in that when bad things start happening, I feel like I'm being pulled under, and trying to swim back
for you,
to the
it's
surface.
A dominoes effect.
Yeah.
It's like when one thing starts to teeter for you.
But I get worried that there's no bottom and that I'm going to keep sinking once things start going bad. But once they go the other way, the superstitious part of my brain goes, now we're rolling.
Yeah,
and
it's been broken.
It energizes me, and it just motivates me to really now, again, with the expo now, I'm all in. Not that I wasn't before, but now I'm all in pushing.
It really just rejuvenated your passion, and because
this meeting did the same thing.
Listen, this man is never happy with what he creates. For him, it always can be better. It can be bigger. It can be done in a much more cohesive and a certain way than what I just did. So what he just did or what he just created for him is not good enough, and it's now in the dust, and we need to move on to. He never lives in the moment. He never enjoys what he has created and what he's doing. And for me, I'm the take a moment, enjoy what is happening right here, because this is what you built. This is what you did. Even before he signed this next person who I will hands down, when you can make the announcement, I'll do that whole bowing down to you, because that was amazing that you pulled that off.
You heard it.
And I will.
You heard it.
I have no problems with that. But his poster of guest was already pretty impressive from my standpoint. Not good enough for John. Always feels he's got to do one up. I got to do better. It's not enough. And it's not a grade towards what anyone else is doing. It's how he feels about what he's doing. And it's frustrating sometimes trying to get you to step back and look and just enjoy the moment.
No.
It's not in your psyche.
Kidding aside, John, I am ever grateful for what you've introduced me to in this field. We were talking about that at what? Can't read that. Talking about that what?
At the mine.
Oh. I appreciate you saying that, Patricia. And it's we were talking about this with the people we met with today, because the money thing came up again, and we are 501c. We don't make money, and it's not about it. It's never been about it. We could create ABC ghost hunting tomorrow, where we go to all these different locations and we charge people $200 to come with us, and we do all that. We make money, and it's a business. I've been doing this long enough to know that we could do that. We do that, for not for nonprofit now. We do it to donate the money. So we could definitely do it if we wanted to. We're so experienced. We've been doing this forever, but it's never been about that. And I want to keep going over that again and again because we talked about this before. But it's like we talked about this person we met today. It's like-minded. It's the people who are here watching, attending our events, watching us or coming to the expo, or that we're meeting. I do believe that we're meant to meet. I learned a lot. One of these mediums, I don't remember if it was Nancy Weber. I love Nancy Weber. As far as I've never met a medium who was also like, so she was a psychology student as well, and
she's a nurse too.
And she just knew that it was. I've never met that dual personality type where part of her brain is supernatural because she has abilities, but the other part of her brain is grounded in the psychological condition. And I love that about her. And she had said to me when we first met, and we talked on the phone for an hour plus, and I had such a great conversation with her. And she had said to me, and it stuck with me all these years, the people you meet are the people you're meant to meet along the way. Now, some are just like, exits on the highway. You just drive by them, and that's that. You never get off. You're never in that town. But others are kind of the ones you're meant to meet, and they make a difference, whether it's in your personal life or in my paranormal life. I've met so many people since getting into the paranormal as part of my paranormal life that have made a huge difference in my life.
So you have a separate from paranormal in your personal life?
Yeah, I do. You don't. I do. So you need to turn that question around back to you because you don't.
I don't have a separate from my.
No, not at all.
You think you do?
Yes, I know I do.
Okay.
How many people have called me or texted me?
I'm not talking about that.
Your
whole life is absorbed in that
That's
world.
in another aspect. That's not personal. That's not me. I'm not on the phone with these people and texting them and hearing about when their dog,
my friends?
when their dog farted on the carpet and they need to call and tell me about it. I'm a little more reserved.
I thought you were the paranormal savior.
I am.
Really kind.
That's where all my efforts go. To this.
Okay. But the other thing I want to point out real quick, because when John started this whole thing about the money thing and everything, that we don't make money, what after we got talking and we got really in depth of what we do and how we do it and how we present it, John said the one thing that I have to make clear is, one, we're not here to fill in 200 people, 100 people for an event. That's not what we're about. And two, we're not here to charge the people an extremely high price either. It's got to be fair, and it's got to be worth people coming in and what they're paying for, because we're not going to do that. This is not a money grab. And if that's what you're looking for, then we need to pretty much just bow out and end this. And that's the one thing that I love when we're sitting down and talking, that this is all laid out with anyone who we speak to. Whenever we go in and we're making those connections with these locations, we are talking to them exactly what we expect out of what they want us to do for them and what we expect for the people that we're bringing into them. I see what you got. He's got his hat.
Again, a gift. I didn't have this made. It was just no. We've been to places that had meetings where they literally have said to us, "Hey, we want you here. There is stuff going on here, but you got to do an event that raises $5,000, or it doesn't make sense."
Yeah.
And we were like, what now? And they're like, well, you could fit 30 people on over there. You can fit another 40 over there. You can take another 50 over here. And we're like, and do what? Like they wanted this one building that was like a little church to just pack it with people and do an investigation where they would literally sit in the pews.
Yeah.
And that would be one group. And it's just like, what? Why would we do that? Again, I get it. You want money, you need money. These places don't have unlimited resources.
And John says to him,
but I'm not
you
gonna
have
rip
the option of
people
doing that. It's just not an option that we're gonna participate in.
I told them, I said, I'm not gonna rip people off. I'm not gonna do it. So if that's what you're looking for, then
we're not it.
Thanks for the meeting. Good meeting you. You gotta go.
The holy
relic. John McGinnis knows.
Ouch.
John McGinnis knows. But that's not the point. The point is when you do this, as long as we have and
thank you, Celine.
What's that?
I'm the paranormal angel.
Oh, please don't try to make a name up for her now. It's just sounds. No, she's got her hat. Her hat's over there.
I got a hat too.
Yeah, your hat's over there. But anyway, back to the paranormal stuff, because we really haven't touched on paranormal subjects a lot. Before we get into paranormal subjects, okay, show me your hat. Getting closer. There you go. Yeah, that's what you should be wearing.
My identity is
although that's not
his
even true
identity.
Yet. That's not even true yet. You need to tape over that till June. Look, see anything?
But you notice that
you see anything?
That's not my identity.
You see anything?
This is ownership.
But
hi, Colette. Hope your husband's okay.
But the only thing I will mention, as far as again events that we're doing two this Friday. Now I have to go to the doctor for this, so I have to get injections. So I have to be in Livingston by 4 p.m., which means I won't leave there until probably 4:30, 5 o'clock, which means I won't be where Chris is going to be till 6 or later. So halfway to Halloween is in Woodbridge. I just put the thing up right before we went live. We will have a table there right next to my daughter's. I mentioned that. Twisted Dreams Collection, I think it's called. The tumblers, everything she makes is awesome, my daughter. So Chris will be next to my daughter and my son-in-law, and she'll have the New Jersey Paranormal banner and table set up. So Chris will be there at 4 right when they open. So if you want to come by early, Chris will be there starting at 4 o'clock. I probably won't get there till 6:30, probably 6-ish. But yeah, come by. It's for a great cause. The Woodbridge Domestic Violence Abuse Department, one of those. That's where all the proceeds go. It's halfway to Halloween. There'll be people in costume. There'll be kids trick-or-treating. I know they have music. I think they have alcohol now. I thought I saw beer on
They do, and wine. And
yeah.
And the other thing is that they are having a costume party. So if you're a person who likes to dress, they are actually awarding prizes to adults and children with the best costumes. And the idea is that you go around and you trick or treat at each one of the booths.
We'll
Oh, it's
call
your
you
brother.
Saint.
Now he's back to normal now. That's good to hear.
We'll call you Saint Chris Ruggiero. No, you spelled my name wrong too, John McGinnis. I'm not Ruggiero. I'm Ruggiero. Got it? Get that right next time, buddy. Or I'll have you empty in 2 classrooms by yourself, John. All right? Don't mess with me. I got to tell you, I'm going to get sidetracked again. Who cares? I'm in a good mood.
That's
So
usually me.
we're going to run 3 hours tonight. But John McGinnis, who is really a good guy, he shows up at the expo since we've known him and literally is there setting up tables. Tables are heavy, chairs. And John is one of the few if he sees me going towards the back area there where there's tests
you.
that he's
Mistake.
I don't know why. But he follows me back there and we carry desks that are attached to, the chairs and have to move them to another room. John and I did this whole entire room, just him and I can't remember how many years ago. And then this just last time, it was crazy because they didn't empty one room they were supposed to.
Yeah,
and
they were
me, John Zaffis, and a few others are just pulling desks and chairs out of the room trying to empty it. So even though he wears inappropriate shirts at a high school, the guy is a really good guy, and we love John. And John's a great photographer. Took a lot of great pictures.
Have retired as a professional table setter-upper.
Yes. You may see pictures of him looking like he's bored out of his mind at other conventions. Believe me, I have them. But at ours, he does a good job. I still have that picture. Real quick, again, this is a side. So John, we were at another convention, the Battlefield Bash, and John was looking after another table for Pam and Steve. So John is just sitting at this table with their paranormal equipment.
And he looks so thrilled.
He was just bored out of his mind sitting there. And he's just kind of like looking around, like with this look on his face, like he's bored. And he's making his way. And there I am with my phone. And I caught him just at the right moment where he just looked like he was just bored and frustrated. And I wrote, Mr. Excitement. And I sent him the text. I'm like, boy, look at no wonder people. I'm like, no wonder people are crowding over here. Look at this guy. He just says, hey, come on over. He just has that look. Like, come on over, sit and chat.
Oh, my goodness.
But anyway, but no. Friday, we're doing Halfway to Halloween in Woodbridge.
I would love if any of you can come stop by and see me. I'm unchaperoned for at least a couple hours.
Yeah. Parker, it's in Parker Press. Just look up Parker Press. That's where you'll find it. Parker Press. It's right by the train station. Again, the proceeds go to a great cause. Chris will be there. I'll be there later. And then the only other event we have with tickets available now is Dalen at the Mine, which, again, we're looking forward to because we've never been with Dalen on an investigation before. And Dalen's first time at the Mine, June 21st. Perfect weather for that. Should be an awesome night. If I had to guess, tickets are about halfway sold for that. So if you're interested, email New Jersey Paranormal. You have to spell out New Jersey Paranormal, one word, at yahoo.com and get tickets for that event. Should be a lot of fun. So that's it. That's all I mentioned as far as events. But we had a very deep conversation. Whenever you meet people, we meet people who aren't in the field and are just interested in the field. They do ask, really, they want the big picture answers like anybody would. And it's understandable. So as we're sitting with these people today, especially the owner of the hotel, she is aware of the people that have owned the hotel before her, and part of the reason she has the hotel is because of someone's passing, who she was very close with. And right away, she talks about the energy she feels there, and other people feel energy there, and right away people some people assume when you talk about the paranormal, it's the movies. You're talking about Poltergeist,
Yep.
Conjuring, Amityville. That's, you guys know as well as we know, that's not all that there's all there is. There is good energy. There are buildings that have very nice people still wandering around them or visiting them, that are just nice people in life. They loved the place, their family was there, whatever. They lived there, their parents built the house, and they're just there. And that's the other side. So when we had this whole discussion about the label of haunted and the paranormal and what that means. And yes, if I say haunted to most people, what do they immediately think?
The scary stuff.
They think shadow figures, doors are opening and closing, people are hearing noises or voices and all that. And yeah, that's part of it. True. But a haunting could also be just, we talked about this before, a random smell coming, cigarette, pipe, cigar. And the guy who lived there before you did may have smoked cigars every day. And yet every once in a while you'll smell a cigar in your house and you're like, huh, my neighbor don't smoke. Where's that smell coming from? Well, that guy could be there for whatever reason. Maybe there was a date, a time where that was important to him, that he remembered or she remembered being in that home. That week, that time meant something to them. Or maybe they're just always there and they just check in. That's part of their routine of whatever
and maybe
the
you were more
afterlife
aware
is.
of them in that moment for some reason.
Yeah, but maybe as part of their routine in the afterlife is, people get up and go for, like, especially older people, they'll get up and go for a walk every day, exercise or whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe again, part of the routine of a spirit is that they go visit their home for a while and they just go there and spend time because that's where they remember happy things. I'll give you a for instance, and I don't want to get depressing with this, but it's a true story. Um, I had to go to Woodbridge to City Hall, and uh, my mom and my sister lived in Woodbridge in the same condo. And literally from where the City Hall is, you go up a road, there's a light, there's a church in front of you. You make a left, you go down two lights, you make a right, and that's where their whole condo complex was. So Chris wasn't with me. It was just one of those days where I was thinking about my sister a lot, and Frank, my brother-in-law, who recently passed, and how they were all together. And again, as you get older and you lose people, you can't help but go to places, and your your mind takes you to moments, and you remember those moments, and you say, God, I wish, I could have another one of those, or I wish I would have really appreciated those moments for what they were, even if they were mundane, you know? And I pass by a ShopRite all the time. She'll tell you where I took my mom shopping every week, which is right by the Woodbridge High School. And something in me just said, just go by there. And I was already feeling kind of melancholy. I drove up the road. I went into the complex. I drove real slow. Um, there were the second floor of the condo, and I parked so I could see the steps and see the balcony. Now, my mom fell down those steps and she broke her hip. And that's when my mom really started to deteriorate.
Hey, ladies.
And she never made it out of the nursing home after that fall. And my sister and my mom and Frank all lived in that place together, taking care of each other. And I'd been there so many times with them, laughing or just
Life.
taking my mom food shopping, and aggravated that, she was complaining about something. And I sat out there knowing there's other people living there, and those moments and all of that is just gone. Yet here I am staring at the same place I had been in a million times, and yet that it was now gone.
No longer
I'm looking at the thing, and it's just not that thing anymore. But that takes me back to, again, as spirit, maybe they do the same thing. Maybe they, as people, they do miss even if it is better, let's say it's so much better on the other side and everyone's happy and everyone's healthy. If they kept their memories and they're still the people they were, you are, why wouldn't you go back to places? And some
Almost
would,
like a magnet.
and some would stay in those places longer than others. Some may want to stick around and just be in that place
I
again.
have places of great happiness and memories.
But you know what I'm
I
saying?
definitely
As far
would.
as that theory, I mean, like, it is so weird to think, and again, down the rabbit hole. Chris and I were in West Orange. We went to an antique store, and I bought something off a Facebook Marketplace. So I grew up in West Orange. My family, the last time my family was together, all of us, and now my sister's gone, my mom is gone. We lived in this one apartment, and as we were there, I was tempted to go drive by there as well because, again, it's almost like I drive down that street, that house is still there, that street is still there. There are different people there, but it's almost like that time existed. You know what I mean? That time, at one time, I was there and I was a kid and my family was there for years and years and years. And we had happy moments, sad moments, whatever. But I'm still me in that place, but that time is gone. And yet the place has not changed. You know what I mean? It's like an imprint type of thing where all those memories are there and my emotions. So maybe they do cling sometimes. You know what I mean? And that maybe when I pass, maybe that's one of the places
because
I
even
go.
though I strongly believe this, whether it's in happiness and living through life and tragedies, I believe there is a essence of your energy that is left in certain places that when you in those places again, it's like you connect to that energy from that. Perfect example. Um, getting ready to do a yard sale, and I was going through some stuff down in the basement, and I came across a box that I had not come across before, and it turned out to be a box from my deceased daughter. And there was something, and I'm not going to go through the whole story of it, but there was something in it that I picked up that literally felt like going through like a warp of some kind where it literally transported me right back to that moment in time of something so overwhelmingly assaulted my senses from that time, and it took everything I had to pull myself back out of that and to put that down. And I literally had to walk away from what I was doing and refocus on something else to change the whole essence of what that energy, and that's what I mean by the good energy or the bad energy. And that was a bad energy thing. Right. And it took me by surprise because that should have never been here. That piece of what that was is connected to something really tragic that happened to her. And I was just, and it took me, and it's just, I felt like I was back in that time all those years, many years ago when that happened. It was like it was happening all over again, but in a fast speed dump.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable to that happened.
But again, along those same lines of the theory of the paranormal, and I love talking about this because it is such an unknown that nobody could tell you for sure either way. But again, imagine what you're talking about, what I'm talking about, and relating it to that building we were in today. And this is what I explained to the person that we met with. Now imagine now the spaces that I referred to where I grew up, where my mom and my sister and Frank were, and they were together and they were happy and they were living their lives every day. Now, again, imagine the person in that condo, there's nothing going on. They're living their lives, their family, whoever's there now. But imagine me with the knowledge of the people who were there previously and intimate details of their lives and a connection to their lives. I go in there and just me, or maybe the homeowners could be there or whatever. But in theory, I go in there now. I'm in the space and I'm openly talking about the memories and the things, those, that time and those people, and that of course triggers emotions in me and feelings and changes the energy in the area. Now, can that contribute to a sort of seance slash conjurer? And
Drawing them in
yeah,
like a
can
beacon,
that do that? I think it can,
like a
to be
beacon,
honest with you.
right?
I mean, and maybe again, maybe I go, they go, but maybe, like you said, like a beacon, that I'm in that space. I am feeling everything. I'm now in here, transported to a time when they were there as well. And now we've opened up that channel of that time with those people, and now we have a
And
space where everyone can
it's
be.
remarkable the fact that you're making that tie-in and you're talking about it, because that's exactly the way I feel about the woman we met today in that hotel. There was so much emotion oozing from her. You felt all of it, for the previous owner, for her life, and what happened in that house and that hotel and what it entailed. There was that emotional connection, and you heard me say that to her, that this might be the very reason why there might be something here,
Yeah,
is because of your connection with the emotion and the woman that was here.
I've been told that I'm a beacon of light to spirits. That's entirely possible.
Very, Diana.
Some can be, and I'm sure, others have more of a
See, I was
ability to
always
do that.
raised, and I live this way, and I feel this way, and my daughters would have told you a million times over. They were so sick and tired of me saying it through their whole life, and I still say it. Negative gets negative, and positive draws positive. So if you're in that essence, then it's like misery loves company. That what that statement means is that if I'm miserable, then I've got to make you miserable, because then we can all be miserable together.
Well, now you get
and
it.
it works together, and it draws it. And the same thing with, if I'm doing bad and you're doing good, well, if I can get you to do the bad with me and I build the numbers on the bad, then our bad behavior is now acceptable. And it's the one who's doing the good that's not acceptable. You're the outside. It's kind of like that forte. You draw what you bring in and what you put out there. So you've got to be very conscientious. So I do believe that if you do, I think you can be a beacon for the good, and you can be a beacon for the bad, to certain extents, with different ways.
But
And I believe that.
I do. That's why, again, you see that we investigate objects pretty much the same way that I'm talking about, and that every time there's an object to the left of me when I'm in the creeper gallery, I'm not seeing an object, I'm seeing a person. And I'm talking to that person. And I'm trying to, in any way, shape, or form, relate to them on a level where they're at least open to, maybe if they're not there, coming in and just interacting or communicating, or whatever happens. But I am speaking to whoever. I again, I look at the document, or the Mary Sue from Kentucky. Okay, Mary, this is who I am. This is what I learned about you. Let's talk. Let's talk about your life. Because again, maybe I am going to reach them on some level from wherever they are, if they're not present all the time, to where they're going, boy, you know what? Yeah, my parents did pass when I was young, and I remember that house and working as a school teacher for all those years. And yeah, maybe I will join in and try to
maybe
interact.
the essence is on the other side, or wherever your energy goes, and however you see it, that in that moment when you're trying to make that connection, or you're making that connection, you're bringing back the consciousness of what their life was.
Maybe that's a theory.
Right.
It's a theory, and that's how we're reaching them. Because we do know some things, and we're talking to them on a very human level about the details of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
That if it were me and somebody had this little whatever, say this was a picture of me, and yet they're holding this picture of me and they're going, well, here's John. John was born on this day, and John has siblings where names were this, and John did this, and John was in the paranormal field. If there was, again, a way for that to reach me, or if I looked at, or if I was somewhere, like, hey, someone's got my object, and now they're talking about my life, what's going on there?
So maybe that's a double essence of like an object and talking to, you're creating that synergy.
And I'm either going to go down there and be like, hey, yeah, that's mine. I'm going to try to let you know I'm here.
There's more to it than this.
Put that effing thing back. That's mine. What are you doing with that?
You do that to me.
I'm going to affect them.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
I do.
Paranormal theory is so interesting on so many levels, and this is part of my fascination and frustration, because the fascination is all about the what ifs. Theories. The frustration is when someone shoehorns their own kind of handbook into what is
definitive.
What is. No way, no how. Again, if anybody were to do that to me, John Zaffis may be someone I might listen to when it comes to that, and still take it for what it is and go, okay, but my experience has been this. But other people, no.
I'm always leery of anybody that tells me this is exactly the way it is. This is the definitive. That's what I'm leery. When somebody says, well, I think of it this way, I think it might be this way. That's what that's my hypothesis on this. I kind of believe that if you do this, you get this result, or this is the way it is on the other side. I don't know it to be true, but I think it's that way. That's the person I'm going to sit down and listen to, because I'm interested in and seeing what their theory is. But I do have to admit, and it's one of my flaws, is if somebody comes at me with a definitive, this is the way you have to do this, this is the way it must be done, that draws me back, because now you're putting me in a box and saying your way is the only way. And that's not how, and what might work for me communicating may not be the same for you or for someone else.
The funny, most ironic thing about my paranormal life is that I'm opposite John in real life. I'm much more comfortable with talking to an unknown spirit person, and trying to kind of gel and vibe with them and interact with them and communicate with them and interact with them as I would. You put a person in that same corner, I'd be like,
he's sweating.
What are you doing here? Oh yeah? And that would be my effort would be about.
We're the opposite.
Yeah, with the spirit, I'll sit there for an hour and a half.
We're the opposite. I'm very personable and connect with people really easy. But when it comes to the spirit, unless it's a super nice whatever, I'm not. It doesn't flow like it does for you.
I mean,
easily.
People I know, it's different. If I know the people, it's different.
Yes,
I'm talking total strangers.
Yes.
Total stranger, a spirit stranger, I'm much more comfortable putting in the effort and trying my best to make a connection and communication. Whereas the living, if it don't happen within like 5-10 minutes and I get a weird vibe or I just don't.
Chris.
I'm going over there and doing something else. It's really weird.
No, it's not. It's
really
it's just how you are.
Yeah.
You've always, you actually do, through the years that I've known you, you do so much better. A lot of people would not know that you struggle with that type of contact that you struggle with. And it's not because you don't care and that you don't care about people.
No, I really
it's
don't.
Just you.
I'm kidding.
Interactions on levels with people are very uncomfortable for you. You
not
have
everyone.
Not everyone. No. When you get to know people,
strangers.
But everybody is a stranger in the beginning.
Exactly.
So somebody has to be able to.
Some strangers you connect with quick.
They gotta crack through your wall first, so that they're
it's
not
me.
that.
My wall.
Your wall.
No.
You are an introvert. Most people would not know this about John. John is a massive introvert.
No, but see, in the paranormal community, I connect with everyone.
Because when you're up there talking about the paranormal, what you're passionate about, that anxiety of the
no, because there's commonality. I'm okay with commonality.
Because the
Just like
anxiety is taken away.
if I meet a Cowboy fan, a Dallas Cowboy fan, I could get along with them and talk to them for hours. Someone who listened to Howard Stern for whatever, talk to them for hours. But if we're so
So
unlike,
if someone's
like if someone
different
comes
than
up to me
John,
and
who
starts talking about
struggles.
race cars and fishing and whatever, I'm like, nothing I got.
Yeah, he
for
won't. He
that.
won't listen about anything
Yeah.
that if
Sorry.
it's my interest and it's not his, he doesn't listen to a peep of it.
But, so this is how you know when I go many moves from now, you know how to talk to me and what to talk to me about. Otherwise, you're not going to connect with me.
Your aura.
I'm going to go over there and ignore you. But that's me. But I do, again, today was very, it was good in a lot of ways as far as good news with the person that we signed on for the expo. Meeting these people, whether it turns into something or not, was just a cool experience. And that's what this is all about. And we even talked to them about that. And that's why I like the hotel owner, because she got it. She got it. It's all about whether something happens or not. It's such a
And she's real.
cool experience meeting with people who are like
you met the real person, not the facade.
No,
we met a real nice, open-hearted person.
Again, it was just like I said, a good experience whether something happens or not.
Heather's right. Your trinket object will be Coke Zero.
Hey.
And chocolate. I can't go wrong with chocolate.
Yeah, those two. You put chocolate and you put a Coke Zero or like I love pizza too, like or stromboli. You put those down there, and boy, you bet.
He's coming to the table.
I will levitate you. I will make everything fly across the room. I'll forget it. You'll make millions off of me.
Oh
Just
my
keep
goodness.
that stuff in there. But anyway, no, it was a good day, and
great
again,
day.
Meeting this person, just like others that I've met, and I mentioned Nancy Weber, really opened my mind more.
Gloria.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, again, this instance, this conversation, that building, the story of how it came to be that she owns it, really got my mind kind of like, wow, again, I always get equated to like a flow chart, how there's the one thing branches to the other thing. That's what the paranormal is. You think you have it all, or at least most of it, and then boom, boom, another branch. And I love it. I love it. You know, it fascinates. It scares the hell out of me because I still don't know what happens when we go. But
I do have to say, when we first started, and the woman
meatball subs. Oh yeah.
When the woman mentioned
meatball parms, gotta have cheese.
When the woman mentioned about what the experience was in the house, you kind of just saw John go, okay. You were just like, okay. But then when she started talking about the history and how this house ended up going from owner to owner, which in itself is remarkable. It did. And then I literally saw the wheels burning in John's head once she started revealing these different big nuggets and you just saw everything just changed in that moment with John. And because I know him so well.
But it still narrows. It goes down to the fact of us getting in there, because maybe we can't communicate with who's ever there, but it will help having the owner there, and we're going to try that when the time comes. And then from there, whatever happens.
So keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully all of this works out well.
So hopefully we'll see you guys on Friday at halfway to Halloween in Woodbridge.
Yes, please, because like I said, for 2 hours I'm unsupervised. So come out and enjoy this. It's going for a good cause. It's for domestic violence, and it's to help the families that are dealing with this and the abuse.
And that'll be Friday. Again, look up Parker Press in Woodbridge. Chris will be there. I'll come there later. We'll see everyone else at the Inscape House on Saturday when we have our event there, which been looking forward to. Can't wait to get back in that building. And then we'll probably come back on Sunday night and do a live where we talk about halfway to Halloween, the Inscape, and all that good stuff. And then next week will be Creeper, and hopefully I can get Dakota soon, and away we go.
Okay.
That's it. Interesting one, I think. got to wear my hat. I talk about a lot of theories, which I enjoy doing. As you know, we haven't done this in a while. Again, I know we promote a lot of events because we do a lot of events, but it's nice to just sit and talk about theory and different aspects of the paranormal. That's what we did all the time
We
during the
did.
pandemic.
We did. We need to get back into a lot more of that. I agree with you on that. Have a good night. Stay safe, and please stay healthy. Anyone that's dealing with the fires and the aftermath, I know that we were driving through there. Unfortunately, it activated my asthma a bit, so I can't imagine what it's like for people who are living there and in that area. So again, stay healthy and make sure you take care of yourself. And please remember to be kind to each other. It matters. Good night.